Hi, this is Editor Troxel. In today's tutorial, we're going to continue where we left off last week and figure out how to get the file rendered that we're looking for and added to the timeline. Last week, we figured out how to find the renderer, the template, the output file name, and we found the actual event we wanted to render. And we also added the track that we want to add the audio to. So this week we're going to continue on, so let's continue on. As we said, last week we found the renderer, the template, the output file, and we added the new track. And so now let's go through and remind us that we checked to see if it was untitled. We found the renderer, we found the selected audio event. We checked to see if there were no events and no loop regions. We got a new file name. We added the new track, and now we're going to continue on to this section. If the event does not equal null, it means we found an event. So what we want to do is render the selected event, and we're passing it that event. Otherwise, we want to render a selection area. So what we did, we wanted to render either a selected event, or if no event was selected, we wanted to render a selection area. So we created two routines here, one for the event and one for the selection area. So let's look at the render selected event first. Here is our rendered selected event, and we're passing it a track event. And then we're using our string, export string, and we're getting our path.getDirectoryName output file. That's our export path. Then our output file is going to equal the export path plus the get directory separator character plus the path.getFileName without extension of the ActiveTake.media path. So we're going to include the original file name. Then we're going to get path.getFileName without extension path.getRandom file name. So we're going to get a random file name here, and then we're going to add the myrenderer.fileExtension.substring to get our .wav or .mp4. Now I'm creating me an array called solo array, which is a new Boolean array, and the size is going to be myvegas.project.tracks.count. Now I'm going for each track, my track and myvegas.project.tracks, and I'm setting each position of the solo array equal to mytrack.solo, and then I'm setting mytrack.solo equal to false. So now every track solo is set to false. And then the event.track, the track containing the event I have selected, .solo, I'm setting to true. So now only the event that I have selected is soloed. That track is soloed so that when I render, I will only get that track. And then I create a render status called status, and I'm calling doRender, and I'm passing it the output file, the myRender, the myTemplate, event.start, and event.length. So that will actually do the render to a new file. And then if the status equals renderStatus.complete, I'm going to add that new audio event from event start to event length. And then at the end, for each track, my track in myvegas.project.tracks, I am using this solo array and resetting mytrack.solo equals the original value that I saved up here. So now all of their solos will be set back to the way they were originally. So this will do the actual render of the selected event. Naturally, the doRender does the actual rendering. We will get to that in just a moment. So if they have a selection area instead of a selected event, then we do the render selection area. So the first thing I set is the export path equals path.getDirectoryName output file. And then my output file is going to be the export path plus the path.getDirectorySeparator character plus getFileName without extension, the myvegas.project.file path. So we're using the actual veg file name. Then we're adding the path.get file name without extension .path get random file name. So we're getting a random file name here, and then I'm adding the myRender.file extension to get my substring 1,4 to get my .wav or .mp3. Next, we get our render status again. Status equals do render, and we're passing it the output file, the myRender, myTemplate, and then for the start, we're passing it myvegas.transport.loopRegionStart, and for the length, we're passing it myvegas.transport.loopRegionLength. So we're doing the exact same thing that we did up here, except up here we passed it the event start and length, and down here we're passing it the loop region start and loop region length. So once again, if the status equals render status.complete, then we're going to add the new audio event from the loop region start for the loop region length. So here we have our do render routine, and this is all the information that we're passing it to it. So our render status is going to be myvegas.render, and we pass that the file name, the render template, the start, and the length. So if status equals render status.complete, we simply return the status and we're done. If the status equals something else, if it says canceled, then we say user canceled. If for some reason it failed, then we're going to pop up a failed message and return that status as well. Then if everything is correct, then you notice we called this add new audio event. We added that, called that up here and up here. And to add the new audio event, I'm getting the media, which I call my media equals new media, and it's the output file. Then the audio event, my new audio event equals null. So then we get the stream, mymedia.streams.get item by type, media type.audio, comma 0, the first string. If null does not equal stream, then my new audio event equals a new audio event from this start time to this length, and this is the times that we are passing to this routine. my2track.events.add my new audio event, so we're adding that new audio event to the track. Then take, my new take equals a new take from the stream, which is the actual audio stream, and then my new audio event.takes.add my new take. And then down here we have the required entry point. So here I have a project with multiple events on the timeline, and this one is saved, and it is saved here in the test folder, and you can see there is no folder here inside this. So now when I select one of the audio events, I just select any of them. It rendered the file, and then it put a new copy of it onto the bottom track called added audio. If we go back to the folder, you can see we now have an exported audio file, and we can see that the file name is the same as the media, and then a random string was added. Now let's unselect everything and create a selection area. So we will make this our selection area. Try it again. Once again, it rendered a new file. Here's the new file. You can see the file name is test with a random string after it, which is the name of our veg file. And it once again added it to a new track at the bottom, and it just combined everything in that region so that you could simplify everything in that region to a single file instead of having a bunch of individual files. So I hope you like this tutorial. You can see how we can use the scripting to combine things or just render out something to a new track, and while there, I have noticed that there were a couple of things that I probably could have simplified a little bit that was duplicated that really didn't need to be there, but the basic technique is there showing you how you can go through and create a new folder, render out, put that new rendered file back on the timeline. And so I hope you found this useful. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.